Hello, folks. I know I was going to get this posted for you much earlier, but unfortunately things didn't work out, so I'm running a little bit behind. Sorry about that. I'm excited for our summer reading project together here, and I'm excited to use this video, the YouTube video, as a means of discussion about our book, Fellowship of the Ring. Uh, the intent here is for us to have a conversation about the book, for me to post this initial video for us to use as a springboard to discuss the book a little bit. It's obviously informal. I'm sitting here speaking informally off the cuff a little bit about the project and what we're doing, and hoping that you'll do the same thing based on some questions that I'm going to pose here today. And when you post your responses, you can send me a quick email letting me know that you've got it posted, or I'll also be checking back periodically. But to be safe, send me an email. And you can use my Brookfield High School account, or you could use my New Canaan account, whichever one works better. But I really am looking forward to hearing from you about the book, about what you thought, about some feedback about our book Fellowship of the Ring that we all read this summer. I loved reading it again. This was actually this is an interesting, fun project for me, because this was one of the first books that I really loved when I read. I was young, and I had read The Hobbit with my teacher in class, and just really kind of it took off for me. I picked up the Fellowship of the Ring. I read through it. I read The Two Towers, jumped to The Return of the King. A couple of friends of mine were doing the same thing at the same time. We started talking about these books, and in truth, I've probably read it a dozen times or more. When the movies came out, I was right there in line, although I didn't wear any costumes, and watching the movie and becoming a part of sort of the ideas and everything that was going on. It really meant a lot to me as a student when I was younger, and it still means a lot to me as an adult. I think this is one of those books that you can keep going back to and reading time and again, and you'll always find a little bit something different in there, a little bit more, and you'll also reconnect with the first time you read it. There was a time where I knew almost every line, in every one of the pages, on every one of the pages of the book. I can't claim to do that anymore, but it really is an important book for me. And hopefully if this is your first time reading it, hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I always have. If you've read it multiple times, hopefully you continue, like I do, to find different meaning and things in the story. So as I thought a little bit about questions, how would we use this forum as a springboard? Got a couple of quick questions I'm going to ask you. The first one is about heroes and identifying heroes in the book. Second one's about what we call archetypes when we think about heroes, but I'll break that down for you. And then the third is just for you to ask a question of your own. So specifically, question number one is about different heroes in literature. For our purposes, when I think about heroes, I think about Joseph Campbell is the name of, really, to me, the guru, and to many, the guru about heroes. And he was the one. He created a book. He wrote a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And in that book, he identifies what he calls the monomyth, which is sort of the one story of mankind, of human beings, how the hero's journey plays itself out time and again with folks. And in that monomyth, as creating that, he talks about how all heroes go through a similar cycle, and that's a call to adventure, an acceptance of the call, although often we try to deny the call initially because it's scary, because it means we have to go into a place that we're not sure if we're going to be successful or not. We're not sure if what we've learned in the past is going to serve us in the future and things like that. But then we find a supernatural aid to help us in our journey. We accept our call, and as we go through, we ultimately have to work without the supernatural aid's help after we've learned what we can from him or her, and we face our dangers and fears and see if what we know and what we've learned is enough. Ultimately, as a hero, we're transformed into a new person as a result, and then we go back to where we came from, but find that it's different, it's changed, and the story of the hero is really that the place hasn't changed so much as we've changed, and we've learned something deeper about ourselves and about our place in the world. So that's taking a 400-page book and trying to break it down into a minute and a half. But if you're interested, certainly search online a little bit, look up Joseph Campbell. I'm sure you'll find lots of stuff. I think the work he's done is relevant not just in literature but in life. And I think about my own experience. I think about your experiences as students in high school and what you're going to have, what you have ahead of you when you go into college and then into the workforce, other things. Life, the hero's journey really works well for that. So my first question, as we think about heroes, who would you identify as the hero for the Fellowship of the Ring? This might seem like a very easy answer, but I want you to really think about it a little bit and justify why your selection is truly who you consider to be the hero of the story. There are lots of characters here, and I could probably make a compelling case for all of them in one way or another, because all of us are going on our own quests and our own journeys. But the Fellowship of the Ring, really, the title and the fellowship itself, is about their agreement to join this quest. A lot of the book happens prior to that, but certainly what happens afterwards is what becomes that monomyth as well. So think about who, just if you had to pick one person, who would that person be as the hero, and why would that person be the hero you selected? That's my first question. Spend some time explaining your rationale for me. My second question has to do more with the setting and the characters in the book. I mentioned before it's about archetypes. One of the magical things about Middle Earth is the variety of characters that are there. In Middle Earth we learn about hobbits and wizards and elves and dwarves, orcs, and men, and all of these different characters, all these different races, if you will, represent something a little bit different. Think symbolically for a moment. Consider each of the races that are in there, the ones I just mentioned, and others if I've missed some. Share with us what you think they each represent. For an example of this is in literature, the European dragon. Is often pictured holed up in a mountain, surrounded by gold, protecting that gold, not allowing anyone to come anywhere near it. Sometimes there's a maiden, a virgin in there who the dragon is captured and will protect, jealously protect. And what does the dragon represent? Well, the dragon in that instance represents greed, but a useless kind of greed. How the dragon will collect these things and protect them, and not allow anyone near them or to even look at them, but yet has no use for them themselves. Can't do anything with gold. A dragon's not going to go spend gold in town, but yet knows it's valuable, brings it in, and protects it. So the representative there is of mankind's greed, and again, a useless greed. And how the knights used to be tasked with going to kill the dragon, and by doing so, they would show that they have conquered their fear and cleared their vices, and they become, sort of whole knights. If they've killed their dragon, they've their rite of passage into knighthood. So that in that instance, the dragon represented the evil of mankind and those things. So thinking symbolically like that about the hobbits, I put wizards in there because they do seem to be a bit different than the rest of the folks. What do the different characters represent, and why? Why do you think they each represent those things? Because they do bring a certain element or piece of all of us into the story in the way that they interact and the things that they represent. So that would be number 2. Number 3, what I'd like you to do is think a little bit about the story and your life, the book, whatever. Consider a question or two that you have for me and for us, for the other people in the summer reading group. Pose a question or two for us. I'd like to now that I've got the Mac on my desk that has the eye camera in it, I can do this quickly. I'm sorry, this is late. That's one of the reasons why I was behind. But I'd like to be able to sort of have this as a bit of a discussion if we can. So if you pose a couple questions for us, send me an email when you post something up. I'll take a look at it. I'll do another response to be a video response to you, and we'll try to use this as a little bit of back and forth conversation together. If you have any questions, you're certainly welcome to get in touch with me. You can send me an email, and I'll get it. We'll keep the conversation going. So thanks again for your patience. Hope you enjoy the book as much as I always do, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.